Although there's still quite a lot of uncertainty around what shape and form Brexit will take, I think one thing is clear, and that is that if we were to abandon free movement, this would have profound implications for the UK labour market. Firstly, I think there's a clear question around the future supply of skills and labour from the EU. Currently, we have 2.2 million EU workers in the UK, and this makes up about 6.6% of the total workforce. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but if you look at the occupations and the sectors that they work in, it's clear to see that they fill key labour and skill shortages at both the high-skilled end, but also at the low-skilled end, particularly the low-skilled end. And this is very important. If you look at the number of EU workers, for example, in manufacturing, they make up 10% of the total workforce. And they make up 8% of all workers working in hotels, retail and restaurants. They're also concentrated in the services sector, which continues to dominate the UK economy, contributing something like 79% of GDP. So I think it's fair to say that these low-skill sectors will be the hardest hit should we abandon free movement, because they're the ones that are currently the most reliant on EU workers. I think this then raises a second very interesting question, and that is how well will any post-Brexit immigration system step in to meet the needs of these sectors? Whatever system we have, whatever system we introduce, it's clear that we will have to address the imminent shortage of low-skilled workers that we will face should we decide to, should free movement not be on the table. And that's assuming we even manage to overcome the complexity of redesigning a whole new system capable of regulating the movement of EU workers. There is one other alternative to filling the skill and labour shortages left by EU workers, and that is to look to upskill or incentivise British workers to take up these jobs. This could be done by making low-skilled work more attractive, for example, raising pay or improving working conditions, or by investing more heavily in skills acquisition, so things like work-based training and apprenticeships. In areas where we're already experiencing labour shortages, such as nursing, for example, that would require sustained investment in workforce planning to ensure that we have enough of a domestic workforce to meet future demand. The key advantage with this, with these sorts of approaches, is that it makes the UK less reliant and dependent on migrant workers in the future, whether they be from the EU or outside of the EU. One drawback, unfortunately, is that a lot of these approaches, particularly upskilling, takes time and it takes investment. And these might both be two things that we're in short supply of in a post-Brexit economy.